Hey everyone, welcome to today's webinar. I am Zachary Como, Executive Editor of CE Pro, and I'm very excited to present today's session where we'll learn how to grow your business with Ring. For all my friends watching right now who might be new to CE Pro, welcome. When the session is over, I encourage you to join our community, follow us on social media, and of course, check out our great assortment of content and resources, which includes everything from breaking news, timely trend pieces, success stories, detailed benchmark research reports, videos, podcasts, and more webinars like this. To make things a bit easier, you can subscribe to our newsletter to get the latest news and content delivered right to your email inbox several times a week. And I'll pass it off to April to talk more about Small Business Exchange.
Hi, I'm April, the Senior Editor at Small Business Exchange, and I just wanted to really quickly introduce my side of the house. As our name suggests, Small Business Exchange is a website and weekly newsletter created for small business owners and operators. We cover topics like finance, marketing, legal, employee management, customer experience, and a whole lot more. Our sister publications, which include Pizza Today, Impressions, and CE Pro, they all dive deep into their areas of expertise and speak to businesses of all sizes. And at Small Business Exchange, we focus specifically on issues and trends impacting small businesses all across industries. So if you're wondering how to create a succession plan for your business, or you're looking for ways to advertise on a budget, or you just want to see how other small businesses are faring in 2025, we've got you covered. So just go to our website at smallbusinessexchange.com and sign up for our newsletter. And I'll pass it back to Zach.
All right, great. Thank you very much, April. Now let's take a quick look at the platform we're going to be using today. The ON24 console that you're looking at right now can be completely customized. You can move and resize windows, making the videos or slides larger or smaller as you like. You'll also find an array of interactive tools in this experience. In the toolbar, you will see a media player button for your video and volume. You will see a Q&A box where you can submit your questions at the top right of your screen, and we'll get to many of those as we can at the end of the presentation. And you also see a resource list that you can click through to download the slides and related resources provided by our friends at Amazon. Amazon/Ring. Ring, whatever you guys want to call yourself. If you have any follow-up questions or need help with your experience, just send in a question to the Q&A box or press the help icon to get further guidance. We'll have the session ready for on-demand viewing very shortly. And you'll find an email in your inbox when it's ready to view. So now let's introduce some of our speakers. We have Tommy and Chris from Amazon and Ring. So Tommy and Chris, let's take it away.
All right. My name is Chris Babiak. I am actually the territory account manager in the West. I've been with Ring for about 4 years. For that time, I've been working a lot of internal, external partnerships, helping different businesses grow because of Ring. And before that, I had my own single operated business for about 18 years. So I enjoy working with businesses out there and helping them grow and see how they can improve what they're doing out there through Ring.
And I'm Tommy Leonard. I do the same job, but on the east side of the country. We're pretty interchangeable. I've been with Ring for about 5 years. And before that, I sold a lot of Ring. I rolled a truck. I worked for multiple companies, but I've been attending these and trying to contribute to these for a long time. So I'm happy to be back and continuing around.
Yeah, let's dive into it, guys. Feel free to take it away with your presentation.
All right. Tommy, so I guess I know we had some questions that were posed to us during all this, so we can go ahead and start with those. So let's go ahead and go into our first one that we had. How do Ring professional installers grow their business in today's smart home landscape, and really what sets them apart? It really does this in a few ways. First off, our products do what they claim to do, and they do it really well. And the nice thing is they're going to be doing it even better in the very near future. And we're going to pair those products with competitive pricing and consistent top billing and customer satisfaction. The next one is the Ring brand. That Ring brand is well known throughout the country and the world, making it for an easy sell for homes and businesses. Now, for distributors looking to add us to their portfolio, it's going to add reach, visibility, and assist with customer acquisition for them. And it's really going to do the same for our dealers. Tommy, how do you think Ring is really sets apart in the pro world?
Well, the thing that I like the most is that our brand is filled with folks like you and I, where we were in a truck, we did the installs, we pulled Ethernet through an attic that was 140 degrees. We've done all these things and been in all these situations. So I always like to say, right, we have a goal to double your business and bring Ring along for the doubling. But instead, a lot of brands, I think, they always talk about how do you sell more of their stuff? And with us, we found that the best way to sell more of our stuff is to help you sell more of your stuff and vice versa, because Ring is the best brand in our mind to help you get to and through more front doors, to help you create these integrated solutions where Ring is a piece of the puzzle, not the entire puzzle.
Great call, Tommy. So one of the next questions that we had that was asked of us was, how does the simplicity and user friendliness of the Ring app benefit our installers and their customers? I honestly believe that pros and businesses gravitate towards Ring for installation because of the simplicity and usability of the Ring app, as evidenced by its 4.6 rating. In today's world, we're all bombarded with different recommendations, apps, and passwords. So leveraging that Ring app gives our installers a one-app solution for more than just safety and security. With our integration partners that we work with, our Works with Ring and Alexa capabilities, it's going to amplify this to allow for additional solutions beyond security when we're talking about garage doors, gates and locks, thermostats, backup Wi-Fi. And those are just to name a few. And then really, when you get into the scalability and the flexibility of Ring and our product line, and it really integrates with a pro that's maybe just getting started in the business, all the way up to a seasoned installer, allowing them to provide a whole home solution. And some of those integrations that we really like to talk about, some of our brilliant Honeywell, Yale, Genie, MyQ, Kidde, Sonos, to name a few. Tommy, what do you really like about the Ring app for the pros?
Well, one, in a world of millions of apps and pages and pages and pages, it does truly give you a one-stop solution for most of these solutions. We're not talking the four-finger swipe. We're not talking about extra vegetables or any of these legacy solutions that we had. We fully integrate with most of these companies. And the ones that we don't, Alexa does. So the experience to the homeowner, the experience to the installer might be different, but it still solves that problem. Especially when you get into things like Neighbors, which I think is a very underutilized portion. If you want to fill your calendar and get more referrals in a community, get your customers set up with not just the Ring app, but the Neighbors app so that they are kept up to date on the goings on in their community. Plus, it lets you know of things like extreme thunderstorms, power outages, flooding, which can be, although very tragic, a solution-based pool for you to go and offer your services to. And again, keep the calendar filled, keep the phone ringing, with many of those solutions being Ring-based. And then let's not forget, Chris, we know from being out in the field, Ring has become an objection in some cases where they say, can I just use Ring? And the only problem I have with that is the word just. We're capable of tremendous solutions at the hand with the help of our integrators. So when someone says just Ring, I'd say, well, what do you mean just Ring? Let me tell you about some of the things I've created with it. Let me tell you what I do a ton of, which was always my favorite phrase. Another one that's really important is on the next slide here is the live view widgets. This is something that's pretty new and I think criminally under talked about. But you can, on your phone right now, edit your home screen and add a widget that opens the live view without opening the app and loading all your cameras and then loading the live views and the last recent snapshot, and then you click on it and it loads again. You can build a screen on your phone or say on an iPad and an iPort and have it in an office and say, what's going on in the warehouse? What's going on at the front door? is everybody on the phone making calls. We can start to deploy these solutions that Ring was previously a little clunky providing, but now they're seamless, fast, and continuous.
Yeah, Tommy, I love that. And those widgets are great because it's all about how are you separating yourself from the other people out there? Are you going that extra mile? And something as simple as this can really help set you apart.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So one of the other questions we got was, in what ways do strong product reviews and customer trust in Ring help pros build their credibility? Again, it's that Ring brand. It is positioned to solve actual real world problems for our neighbors. So not only are our doorbells, cameras, and alarm systems consistently top rated, it's that Ring's ability to give our installers the potential to leverage that one app solution and that top rated app. And it makes that Ring app an advertising, branding, and lead generation tool for them, a great strategy. And it's a customer favorite when it comes to brand recognition, awareness, and comfort. Yeah. Let's see, I think one of the next ones was, what tools and resources are available for the pros out there these days? And really, it's our dealer portal. Listen, this past year, we've invested heavily in our dealers. And we understand that there are pros that they're busy. And marketing takes time, takes resources, and it takes skill. Time is money, resources are thin. And as far as marketing skills, pros got into the business to provide solutions, not create a marketing plan. So we wanted to develop something to help address these issues and to help them through this process. So we built the new Ring dealer and distributor portal. We packed it with value, and we're adding more to it every single day. When you log on, you're first going to see all the latest updates that we have, whether it's updates to products, pricing, or promotions. You're going to see that marketing content, and you're going to see the additional resources that we have available to them. And once you get into that marketing content, this is a great resource. What you've got here is a marketing suite, and this is filled with high resolution images of devices, installations, logos, our authorized partner badges, essentially the tools and resources you're going to need to grow your business through Ring. Tommy, what are your favorite parts of the dealer portal?
My favorite thing is that it helps you keep, and I keep going back to this, it's going to help you keep the phone ringing, right? I say in a lot of our webinars that putting a post on social media is like buying a billboard, except it didn't cost you anything, and it's literally going to run forever. And with the new interest graphs, instead of the social graphs, all you need to do is have a compelling post to get in front of folks. So with the thousands of images that we have there and some of the AI tools and other copy that you can pull off of ring.com or off of our Amazon pages, you have the ability to create tons of sales generating content that's going to get folks to call you and say, hey, I'm looking for a doorbell. And what you're going to think is, well, kind of, you're looking for a solution to see who or what is going on outside of your home, and I can build those solutions. So for me, it's a mix of that marketing portal and then all of the sales sheets, the webinars. You and I have kind of become a magnet for good ideas, right? We have a lot of them. I'm going to pat us on the back a little bit, but most of what we do and communicate is somebody reaching out and going, hey, I downloaded this sales sheet for the solar smart lighting pathway kit, and you would not believe the amount of people who were willing to have a demo for the weekend where I leave it from Friday to Monday, and then I go back and I design a real system for out back, hardwired, transformers, wired to the basement. And we're just packed with those stories. So for me, on this page, it's a mix of these sales one sheets are gold. And below it is a link to all of our webinars, our bites, which is what we call our shorts, and our new Pro Channel podcast, where all we do is say, you know what's working somewhere? This. Here's how to deploy it. Here's why it's working. Here are the objections. And here's some marketing content to help get your customers to start calling and asking the questions you want them to ask. It's pretty fun.
Oh, yeah. And one of the great things in here is the comparison charts, because we know a lot of our pros have, issues. They're trying to remember what are all the nuance, what are the differences between the Plus, Pro, and Basic, and to kind of alleviate that, make it easier. Those comparison charts are a great resource to have with you and just walk through your customers with and help them make an informed decision.
Absolutely. And they save beautifully to the Books app or whatever the PDF reading app is on your phone. So as a quick reference, you don't have to remember everything. But if you remember where the tool is, you still get the job done.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So next, talking about the products that are really important for installers today. What do we have out there? Without a doubt, hands down, it's 100% the Outdoor Cam Plus PoE. Now, in the spring of this year, we released the Outdoor Cam Plus, and that's Ring's first native 2K camera powered by Ring Vision. And as of last week, it's Ring's latest addition to our PoE lineup. And the great thing is once you get this, it's going to come in a bundle. You're going to have it with the indoor wall mount. You're going to have the PoE adapter that you see right there, as well as that outdoor junction box. This really addresses an issue, a question, a request from all our pros, is more PoE devices. So what we've done is we've added a PoE device, but one that looks better and is actually going to function better as well. And it's going to make for some easy installations and flexibility, whether you want to put it on a shelf, whether you want to put it on under an eave, on a wall, or whether or not you want to go ahead and put it in a tree. We have plenty of options you want to do there.
Yeah,
Now,
man, well said. I'm so excited about this camera. And what you see on the screen here is everything that comes in the box. So what you'll notice is there's the USB-C cable coming out of the additional mount, but the camera itself just has a female USB-C on the back. That does do power and data. It's PoE Plus. Our little dongle there is also separate. You can plug into both sides. The one thing that I would tell you is if you're going to use the 4-inch round box that we provide or a single gang box, keep an eye on the flexibility of your Ethernet cable. So if you're leaving the rubber jacket all the way to the tip, it may be hard to get that 90 or 180 degree turn going through, especially the back side of that straight into the wall. So stripping another inch and a half off of it to leave those bare wires the ability to make the turn without putting pressure on the terminals, that's a little inside baseball for you there. But what you see here is the two different mounts. You see it with the 4-inch on the left and then directly to the wall on the right. And then my favorite part that everybody forgets, the Stick-Up Cam Elite had exposed wiring. We no longer have exposed wiring on our wired cameras. So a nice clean look, again, can mount anywhere. Would love to see you guys pick this up and look at it side by side because, oh boy, is the difference great. Yeah.
The image it produces side by side versus the actual camera itself is night and day. It's great. It really is. Yep. So the Outdoor Cam Plus PoE obviously is the thing we're most excited about, but some of the things that we think are really overlooked a lot are power accessories. And this is really cool because whenever I have conversations with pros, this is like the Pandora's box. This is what we talk about that opens up a world of possibilities. The conversation is, I never had an idea. I never knew I could do that because of Ring. Now, I mentioned the flexibility of the Outdoor Cam Plus PoE, but all these power accessories just take it to the next level. And we recognize that our pros have a variety of abilities, comfort levels, and licenses. So to accommodate that, we've created a lineup of power accessories for them to use. Off to the left here, for our low voltage pros that still want to install a floodlight cam, you have the plug-in adapter for the floodlight cam right there. Next to that is the plug-in adapter. That's actually for the stick-up cam, that's actually for the Spotlight Cam Plus and Pro, as well as the Outdoor Cam Plus. So all of our USB-C cameras. And little hint here, if you are going to be using any of those 3 cameras, buy the battery version. Because what you're then providing is a battery backed up solution, which is a game changer and an awesome solution for them. Now, for our high voltage pros, you obviously have the floodlight cam, but then you also have that hardwire kit. That allows you to hardwire kit the Spotlight Cam Plus and Pro, as well as the Outdoor Cam Plus and any of our USB-C cameras. And it's a great addition, and again, that flexibility. Then we talked about earlier that PoE adapter is a great addition to our power lineup, and it's going to be very, very important to some other cameras in the near future. Now listen, I'll be quiet there. Now listen, we all know there's times when you just can't get power to a device. And for that, we have the solar panel. And the great thing is what we now have is a wall/pole mount that you can use with the actual solar panels. You can actually mount that with both of our spotlight cams as well as the Outdoor Cam Plus. And with that universal mount for those 3 devices, you can mount it on a wall, you can mount it on an eave, you can mount it on a downspout, you can mount it on a tree. There's just a large variety of things that you can do with all this. And I love the fact that we're giving pros the ability to do different things depending on what they're comfortable with.
Correct.
And if you notice there in the bottom right, we have that QR code to find all of our power adapters.
Yep. The one other thing that I use personally, so that plug-in adapter, this one up here, I also use this for my indoor cam pan tilt. Because I didn't have an outlet up in the corner where I wanted it, I just ran this through the wall because it's allowed instead of the USB cable. But I was able to put that up there. And the indoor cam is the only camera in our lineup that you can mount upside down and then flip the image. So if you're looking for a small, discrete camera, especially if the privacy shield would be a bonus, keep an eye on that. And then adding this accessory to make it a more custom solution, harder to price match, harder to replicate. But not hard for us as integrators.
Perfect. So tell me, what are some other devices you're really excited about?
Well, I love the Alarm Pro for its backup Wi-Fi side. So when we talk about that product, it's the one in the top left here. This is kind of our Swiss Army knife, right? It's called the Ring Alarm Pro. But what it actually is our Z-Wave hub. It's our smart lighting hub. It's a DVR NVR with a memory card slot in the back. It's an in-house processor instead of leveraging the cloud. So we're going to speed up those notifications. And it allows for a couple other things. One, it has an AT&T chip in it and a Nero 6. So you can add this to the network, whether it be the router, an access point, or in bridge mode, and still activate this functionality, as well as provide backup internet in the event that your IP or power goes out. Below that one, you can see down here, you can stack up to 3 of our battery power packs, and each one is 8 hours of power. So you can have a full day of somebody hit a pole outside, my power's out, so my IP from Xfinity is out, but I will have 3 gigs of backup AT&T distributed through Eero, so I can continue working until my laptop goes dead. You can also see on the right, those also plug into Eeros. So if you're thinking that's great, I do installs in 4,500 square foot houses. I'm not going to have everything crashing home to one device. Great, don't. Put 3 under every one of the Eero nodes, and now you've added tons of accessories, tons of additional wiring, and an additional mode schedule of what happens and how does it function when the power goes out and I'm in backup mode. The last accessory on here is the retrofit kit for contact sensors in the alarm. When you inevitably get to the basement during your consultation, take a look at that panel next to the power box, right? If you see a bunch of wires not plugged in, do you see a bunch of wires plugged in? Maybe a sign from another company. Ask them what they're paying. Ring's monitored plans start at $300 a year, and these devices can help you be walking out of the basement having already saved them hundreds of dollars this year. So you're basically walking out of their basement with a gift card in your hand for you. The last thing that it does, and before you try this, I would recommend reaching out to us so that we can walk you through it. But the Ring Alarm Pro, when you have a subscription and it's on the network, and an OnVIF camera is also on that network, it can do some OnVIF processing. It could be a little clunky to set up the first time, as a lot of things are, but it functions really well, and it can give you the ability to sell a different camera or sell a system. And then when the client says, can't I use something like Ring, you can send that substream to Ring and say, hey, you do have that system in the basement that's high res and all that great stuff. It's the system that I thought you should have for your house. I also took the liberty of putting a Ring layer in so that in the event that you're shopping at Target or at a thrift store, you can get that in-time notification on the a super premium app that everybody loves. Again, down in the corner, there's a QR code if you want to buy an Alarm Pro. Again, if you haven't done that before, please get in touch with us. We'd love to walk you through it because man, is it a premium solution. Plus, if you use those hardwire kits that we talked about here, and you take Chris's advice where you say, hey, if you're using one of these adapters, you have a battery backed up camera that, in order to function as a battery backed up camera you can use, requires battery backed up Wi-Fi. So you leverage the battery devices, leverage the power accessories to remind you to segue into that conversation of, now let's go have a conversation about keeping your network up when those things go down, to keep your whole house safe, smart, and functioning.
And Tommy, that Ring Alarm retrofit kit, that's one of those accessories that whenever I talk to pros about that, their eyes light up. They're like, I can do what? I could take an existing system and run that through a Ring. It's just, again, a great flexibility that we're offering these days.
Absolutely. The other product that I would not have my truck rolling around town with without a couple of these in the back of would be the Battery Doorbell Plus. And that sounds weird from the Ring guy, because like, don't you have an Elite? Don't you have the Pro? Yes. But the Battery Doorbell Plus has a couple of things that I love. First of which, it can be wired to trickle charge all the way down to 5 volts. So if you're going out to a customer's house blind and you don't know what the wiring situation is at the door, this doorbell will function. Any flat surface with Wi-Fi, this can function as a doorbell camera. So having that flexibility to know I can complete the job, I can move on, I can always come back and make adjustments if I need to, add a hardwire adapter, add a plug-in adapter, solar panel, etc. This device I know I'm going to be able to install. Now, I also make sure that I have some of those sales sheets on hand so that I can go through all of the different things that they're not going to get with the Battery Doorbell Plus. So I can create a situation where it's, I present the Battery Doorbell Plus to Chris, and then I say, now, Chris, a few things that it does not have are the 3D motion detection, which powers bird's eye view and a 3D scope of setting it up. So you may get slightly more notifications. It also isn't quite as loud with the two-way audio, and it's only a single band of Wi-Fi. The way I'm setting it up, you shouldn't have the Wi-Fi concerns. Is that something that you don't want to miss out on? And then I'd have a couple of these around to say, if they want to bump up to the Wired Pro, I'm not going to talk them out of it. Same with the Battery Pro. Now, what I usually say at this point is the best way to improve the performance of a Ring device is not to spend more on that Ring device. It's to buy a second Ring device. If Chris and I were trying to warn you from someone coming to your house and all I could do was look straight ahead alone, I'm going to miss some people until they're pretty close up on us. But if Chris and I are both looking and watching each other's back, and I can go, hey, Chris, start recording, buddy. And he can go, hey, yeah, there's someone behind you too. You should start recording too. Now we can cover the full breadth of it. We're not going to miss the mailman and just see us back. We're going to create a solution where we're solving the actual customer issue of, I want to know what's going on outside my house, not I want a video doorbell. I think there's an important distinction there.
No, I agree. I think so many times our pros, they start off, someone's like, yeah, no, I just want a doorbell. Then the customer's like, well, you know what? I can't see that side of the house. I can't see in the backyard. And it just kind of snowballs from there. And again, you're using those tools, using those Ring devices to get in to help them with that, and then advance to other solutions that you can buy for them, whether it's network, TV installation, whatever it happens to be.
Agreed.
All right, Tommy, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about modes and schedules and how that can really be used by our pros to tailor their security systems and their needs.
I love mode schedules because if you're going to put a Ring camera in or a Ring doorbell in, they know basically what it's going to do. But you have the ability to make it act 3 different ways. So if you're thinking it from a programming standpoint, great. I can almost triple my programming by leaning into the mode schedules and with Ring modes. For instance, I could say in disarmed mode, we're going to have this set for open for business. We're going to have 24-hour continuous view. It's going to be logged in the back office, and it's going to have descripted notifications. And then in home mode, it's going to be armed, but we're going to make it where you're kind of closing up or opening. Customers can come in and out, but we need faster notifications. We need some automated responses. And then in away mode, we can make it where we're going to have virtual security guard actively monitor the cameras, and they're going to turn lights on and warn people that they're on private property. They shouldn't be there. But then when I go back to disarmed, I shouldn't be getting monitored by VSG when I'm in the yard with my wife and my dog. I'm monitoring the yard myself. So take the time, go into the mode schedules a little bit for residential and for business. And don't forget to ask if they're both, because everyone who works in a business lives in a house. But remember that the way that it operates when it's not armed does not necessarily mean it has to when it is armed. So take the time to explain that. Bill it into your programming. Take the time to do it. And then what I always say is make sure you schedule the next appointment. Chris, we're going to schedule your system today. I am confident that this is how you're going to live with your system. What I would recommend, though, is have me come back in 30 to 60 days where you can then critique our programming to say, it's driving me crazy at night with the level of notifications. It keeps waking me up. The announcements when the dog goes out back are driving me crazy. But build that in as a feature of working with you instead of it coming back and being a bug where you're like, oh, I got to do a truck roll. Are they going to be happy to pay? Is this going to be a whole thing? Get ahead of it. Hey, often how we think we're going to use a device isn't how we're going to end up living with and using that device. So I do want to let you know, I do want to come back and do more programming. I'm happy to even build it into the proposal now. So you can call me whenever. One thing I always did with that as a little side note was I would get them a tablet and I would offer it as a part of the presentation and say, this tablet is a shared user on your account. It's not my device. In the event that you need me or someone else to come over here, in the event that our relationship goes south, you don't want to use me anymore, give them the iPad and they have the system. But let me set up the infrastructure for you to be able to use your system properly. Had a lot of success with that.
One of the great things about modes is it ties into our integration partners. And a cool little known fact, the Schlage lock, the smart lock, you can actually program it where you plug in your code. It will actually disarm your Ring alarm, making it a lot simpler. So you're not doing that. So if someone doesn't have the Ring app, you want to give them that. It's a really, really great solution that you can provide as an installer.
Absolutely. Going along with that, Chris, you can also schedule the modes. So I have one where I call it morning squirreling because I call my wife a little baby squirrel, which is a silly little nickname. But every morning at 6:15, the alarm shuts itself off. Dog's usually up by 6:30. I'm usually up by 7. I have forgotten one too many times to turn the alarm off manually. And I don't have the smart lock that Chris recommended, where if I unlock it, the alarm would shut off. So I've made the mistake time and time again. But again, mode schedules can be more than that. It could be, do you open and close at 9 or 5? How about one where we say, hey, we're going to do a mode schedule where the lights are going to change for happy hour on the patio of the local restaurant. So every night, happy hour is an hour before dusk until dusk. It's not 4 to 5. So they show up, the light turns purple because of the mode schedule. It's party time. When the light goes back to orange, happy hour's over. But you have the ability to create these unique, almost strange, I mean, I'm strange, so almost strange solutions that do serve purposes in different places.
And Tommy, I love you brought up the point. It's not just about modes for arming and disarming. It's about creating other solutions as well. Like you talked about lights. For me personally, in my house, you walk out my front door after 7 o'clock at night, before 7 o'clock in the morning, it's going to trigger all my Ring pathway lights to go on. So it's a great solution. Then if you go off my back sliding door, I have a Ring smart outdoor smart plug. All of my string lights are going to pop up from that same schedule. Again, just making it convenient. When I'm walking out on that back deck with my hands full of stuff for the barbecue, I'm not worried about grabbing my phone to turn on the lights. It's automatically done for me.
Absolutely. And you want to get a real wow factor, finish up an install around dusk or plan to go back at night and go, watch how different your system is when I drive into your driveway. And then when you walk out your back door to greet me, now watch, I'm going to go jump your back fence and watch your yard light up like that scene from The Mask where Jim Carrey, all the SWAT team is there and they shine all the lights on them. That's how I have my yard set up. Imagine the impact of, now watch when I jump the fence, pooh, pa, pa, and then Cuban Pete starts playing. But That's a whole different episode.
Love it. So, Tommy, diving back into PoE a little bit, one of the questions we get a lot is, where is PoE and how prevalent is it in the installer world? And the answer to that, quite frankly, is everywhere. It is such a huge part of it, and that's why we're leaning more and more into it these days. Whether that's a pre-wired solution that you're providing, or whether it's a temporary solution, you can go ahead and do that. But don't forget that the PoE and our devices we're providing also address a lot of those common issues we're hearing these days in Wi-Fi jammers. Tommy, what do you love about PoE these days?
I love that it adds flexibility, right? So if I come over to your house for a consultation, I'm starting to look around the house and I'm noting things. What do the light fixtures look like? What do the switches in every room look like? How often do I see an Ethernet plug? Is there anything that I could adapt from Ethernet? Is there an easy channel through a stairway? Is there attic or basement access? Because when I look at it, and we're often asked, right, how can I make more money with Ring? Well, with a PoE camera, if we're running a wire to a specific location, so we've done a good enough job with our customer to say, hey, you should really have a night vision camera over your trash cans. I'm going to tie it into your landscape lighting, but I'd like that to be line powered, and I'd like it to be effective against radar jamming and Wi-Fi jamming. And they go, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Well, now the $200 Ring Outdoor Cam Plus PoE is that plus 120 feet of Ethernet cable, a custom termination, custom labor on the side of the house, the mounting and the programming, and now we have the ability to sell a PoE switch, a PoE injector maybe. Maybe we're adding an outlet to add the PoE injector to. But my favorite thing about PoE is it takes a solution that can be very simple and set up quickly for relatively inexpensive for a customer and get you back on the road to your next customer for a very low introductory price and time spend, but the same system by adding the same cameras. It goes from Outdoor Cam Plus battery and Doorbell Battery Plus to all PoE cameras with those wire runs. The same $1,000 job could be a $6,000 day. And now we've concreted the idea of hardwired devices. Do you think we could run a bundle of 3 of them to the office and set up their computer? Does their kid have an Xbox or a gaming PC and we can run a 3 series bundle up there because we're already in the walls? When we start to get to these points where we're talking about infrastructure and we've made the customer understand that if you build a great foundation, you can put really good toys in it. But if you have to add to the infrastructure every time you get a toy, every toy is more expensive. So let's just get ready for toys. You see these guys, they buy a brand new bass boat and they're covering it in a tarp in their yard. It's like, come on, man. We could have prepared and gotten a garage. We could have gotten an overhang. Let's protect this thing. It's made to get wet from the bottom. My favorite part is that it's the flexibility to go ahead and say, I have this system at its best infrastructure. You should be spending $6,200. And then they go, well, what do you mean by Wi-Fi jamming? You go, well, Wi-Fi jammers will disrupt the wireless communication between device and router, stopping you from being able to record. And they go, huh, I can run a wire to deter that and make your house not a target. And they go, that sounds great. So a few different ways to get there, a lot of the same solution, more of you.
That's always a great solution, isn't it?
That's the best solution, more time.
All right. Hey, Tommy, let's talk about access control for a few minutes. And as far as the things that Ring does right now, we have the Ring Access Controller Pro 2. Now, that's great for triggering a gate, magnetic door, whatever. But between this device and all of the Works with Ring companies that we integrate with, you're going to have a plethora of options that you can provide for access control that you can handle and manipulate and do through the Ring app. And it really is just a great solution. So Ring isn't just about providing safety and security and giving the ability to see your home. We're helping with access, opening doors, and also helping with those in-garage deliveries these days. And in my opinion, Ring does 2 things really, really well. We're making client-friendly products that solve real-world problems. And for our pros, we're creating opportunities for these partners so that they can find, sell, and close more business. Tommy, what do you like about access control these days?
Well, for me, everybody has this need. I mean, last week, it was just Prime Day. how many packages sat on people's porches in the heat, in the rain? You know, the dog got to them, somebody stepped on them, they got dirty, or somebody took the opportunity to take it and leave with it. We can now say you'll never lose another package because it'll be inside your house. So when I look at the access control, I also look at a partner like Amazon Key Delivery, being able to say maybe the solution for the customer right now isn't cameras, but maybe we could set up a Genie garage door or an access controller on their gate or a magnetic door at their business and help them get deliveries, and then say, now that there's somebody delivering things inside your home, inside your business, would you like a continuous viewing live view camera to capture all those moments and give you an AI description of what's happening? There's a guy in an all brown outfit with shorts on delivering packages in the warehouse. Great. Sounds like UPS was just here. So we can create these needs by communicating what again, is an underused solution. You know, how many offices are in our service area where there's 10 real estate offices or 6 law firms or a mortgage office or a call center where they're using those plastic cards to get in and out, and they're constantly swapping out those cards? Ring Access Controller or Amazon Key can help you get in with those solutions and level up their game to let them spend more money where they need it, to let them spend more time actually developing their business instead of worrying about who's coming in and out of their business. My favorite fun use case for this one is I live near a lot of cow pastures and dairy farms, and they're using this on their magnetic gates with like a lift master to watch through the camera and let the animals in or out during the day in the colder months where they just want to sit inside and have their coffee. So it seems like a very, rarely used, but now we have entire farms powered by Ring. So keep an eye on these solutions: bay doors in businesses, magnetic doors in commercial buildings and small businesses, back doors, partnered with a Ring doorbell. It really is an elegant solution.
And the great thing about it is we're really going to start adding some more things for access control in the future here. Tommy, I really want to talk about next is our integrations and how we're working with third-party platforms, ecosystems, and what do you find successful, and what are some of your favorite points when we look at this slide here?
So one is, I always made sure I knew just enough about each one of these to be dangerous, right? I didn't need to know the model numbers or the specifics. I needed to know enough to know that they would work together and that I was explaining it properly. And what I would do is I would create basically plays, right? I'd get up to the line of scrimmage. I'd look around at everything I learned in the consultation, and I go, all right, there's already a Yale lock at the front door. They're already using a Fire Stick. They already have an Eero Wi-Fi. What is the play that I can go ahead and run that's going to be repeatable, referable, and quickly to deploy? So I was always in the frenzy of that 06 to 2020. I called it the hang and bang frenzy, right? It was get a TV, hang it on the wall, get a sound system and a universal remote. Well, muscle memory is hard to break. So when I look at URC or Sonos, Control4, Savant is a full integration. Brilliant is a full integration. URC is a full integration. So as I start building out that budget for the customer, is it an entry-level budget, maybe a URC? Well, they have solutions at under $300 that you can answer the door on the remote to keep the movie playing, to keep the game on, to provide that solution. Also, with something like the Fire Cube, you can program any of these universal remote solutions, whether it be IP or the IR flasher or the port on the back of the Fire Cube, to make a co-experience that looks the same. So for example, if I have a learning remote from Savant or Control4 or NICE or even one of the URCs, I can teach it all the functions of the Fire Stick remote and then just program the integration system to change the input when there's a trigger from Ring. If you're wondering about Control4 or NICE and Crestron and those, there are APIs available. Currently, they operate off of cameras sensing motion or doorbell button presses. So you can be really creative and say, when the door opens, triggering a motion alert, we then have Control4 turn the lights on, make an announcement. We have Crestron heat the floors, turn the lights to cool, whatever the case may be. But my goal is always to get more devices in. I'm going to do MyQ. I'm going to do Genie with the Aladdin app. I'm going to pull it in the Ring, and then I'm going to get to the Fire Cube. So once I get to the TV, now I know I'm going to get the Wi-Fi, the soundbar. So my favorite part of this is not how long the list is. It's all the interconnective tissue between them. If I have a customer who doesn't want to be surveilled, but he hates the idea of people seeing packages on his porch, great. Genie can still run in the Ring app. I can get Ring on his phone. He has a dog. I can give him a pet tag. I can run through all this and still get to my endpoint, which is more of my solutions, one of which is Ring.
Love it.
This is one that I just love, so I hope you don't mind if I run with this, Chris. But one of the things
Tommy, hit it up. Please do.
I've had the most success with this is when I install a device on a home. So say, Chris, you just bought a house and your realtor made a deal with me that as a closing gift, they're going to give you a battery doorbell plus and I'm going to install it. They've prepaid. I'm going to go on the day that you move in or the day after you move in. And I get there and say, hey, Chris, I'm so glad I got this set up. Here's how to use it. Great. And then I'm going to walk out and I'm going to go to every house that doorbell can see. So if we're looking at this screen here, the doorbell's up here, but this house can be seen, this house can be seen, this house can be seen. This one's probably hidden behind that tree, but I'm going to go and talk to these neighbors. I'm going to say, hi, I'm Tommy. I just helped your new neighbor, Chris, install their new Ring doorbell. I just wanted to let you know it's recording your house. So if you have any questions about how it works or you'd like me to add any privacy zones, here's my number. Do me a favor. Give me a quick call or shoot me a text because I don't like to answer phone numbers I don't recognize. And they're going to go, great. And then you're going to turn around. They're going to go, wait, what do you mean like privacy zones? And now you're in another conversation with somebody who's curious about your needs and your solutions. And you've told them you're not soliciting, you're not asking a question, you're not even asking or calling for them to action. You're just letting them know. And if one of them takes the option and says, you know what, I've been thinking about getting a floodlight over the garage. Well, now this yellow zone represents what the floodlight sees. And I'm going to go over to the houses that sees here, and even to my previous client and say, hey, I just installed a floodlight across the street. It has really bright LEDs. It does have some siren options. So I'm going to test that later. You may have heard that earlier, but I installed that and I wanted to let you know that it has your home in its field of view. If you have any questions about how that works, here's my number. Shoot me a text or give me a quick call. And we're just going to work our way through the neighborhood that way. And we're just going to keep on going. We're going to keep going back to the same neighbor's house. We're going to keep letting them know your system's getting stronger. Did you see your neighbor pop up on the neighbor's app? Oh, I see you got a puppy. Here's a pet tag. Every time your dog gets lost, you can notify everyone within 5 miles that your pet's lost with a digital lost pet flyer. Do you have any neighbors, friends, or family in the area that I could go make their pet safer at your referral? And they're going to go, yes, the neighbor 3 houses down over here, they have 3 dogs and they're always running around the neighborhood. Great. Hey, Chris let me know that you had a couple of dogs and I wanted to drop these off. It's a digital lost pet flyer. If you have any questions about how it works, I'm just going to keep running that play, adding value to the community, teaching them all how to use it, and most importantly, keeping people with solutions in mind that are produced by me.
And Tommy, what I love about that is, listen, the average lead for small businesses is about $180 per lead. So when you consider that a $10 pet tag is an easy sell, that people are actually something that people are going to want and resonate with, it's an easy solution. And it's a great talking point.
Yeah. That is the end of our slides. We had a few other questions that we know were sent into us if we want to get into those, but we'll kick it back to the CE Pro guys and see what they want to talk about.
All right, yeah, Tommy and Chris, thanks for that great presentation and walking us through the tools, products, and strategies that make Ring a great partner for integrators and small businesses. If you haven't put a question in the Q&A box, and if you have any questions, please do so, and we'll get our best to we'll do our best to get through as many as we can. Yeah, here's actually a good question. What happens when a customer already has Ring? You know, what can integrators do to what can integrators offer those folks?
Sure. So the first thing that I would say is when you find Ring, you want to go ahead and look to see if you can see how it's connected. Because if we're looking at a battery device, chances are it's either dead or it has died recently. So being able to say, hey, I noticed you have Ring. I do a lot of that myself. How often do you change the batteries? And then working to sell one of our power accessories. One, because it's going to add some labor for today and it's going to get us in the door with that first yes. But two, if that's a battery device with now a plug-in adapter or solar panel, we've turned that device into battery powered into battery backed up. So now I can go dual power, and I can go back to kind of forcing that conversation about battery backed up internet being necessary. The way that I've had the most success doing that, and we were going to actually end on this slide, so it's funny that you mentioned that question, is this is the difference between our new cameras on the left with our new low light sight, and on the right, our older cameras without low light sight. So if you've done stick up cam elites, stick up cam batteries, even our old spotlight cams without the light on, obviously, this is the difference that you'd have. So if you could take a screenshot of this, I know that we sent it over as one of the assets, but this would be a great way to go. I see a Ring camera up there. That's a great solution. If you'd like, I can make it so you never have to touch the battery again. It will work with the power off. And by the way, this will be the performance difference. So having those sales sheets, having that play where you can go, oh no, they're running a blitz, right? Change the play real quick. They already have it. I'm going to get the accessory. I'm still running a wire. Maybe it's a PoE adapter. Who knows? But it's going to be a better camera with a still a valuable install to perform. And now I'm back in the living room talking about that Wi-Fi.
Great.
And one of my favorites is especially with the new Outdoor Cam Plus PoE. I was in a restaurant a couple weeks ago and I saw one of our old stick-up cam elites from a ceiling in there. And I'm thinking to myself, I know in a couple weeks, we're going to have such a better solution. For all those pros out there that see businesses that have existing PoE cameras out there, this is an easy transition where you can walk in and talk to them about a simple solution, run through the Ring app with a high quality camera. So I love that.
Bingo.
Great. And for those of you with smartphones, which I'm sure all of you have, feel free to hit up those QR codes in this slide that we have up right now, and you can book a meeting with probably Tommy or Chris. I would imagine the only ones that work at Ring or Amazon,
Yes.
and then you can also register as a Ring Pro.
Can't recommend it enough. No minimums, just good prices and quick delivery.
Great.
Yeah, and when you register as a Ring Pro, that's how you're going to get access to that dealer portal.
Excellent. And I know April has a question as well.
Yeah, can you guys see me?
We can.
Yes, we can, April.
Okay, so I guess what would you say to people who think Ring is great for residential but wonder if it's really ready for businesses?
I'd say that, listen, that's where we got started, was with residential. But right now, we have hundreds of thousands of businesses that are using Ring right now. And again, this started off by homeowners that had it at home and they wanted to use it in their business. And what we've done is we've grown upon that, and we've built the services and features that businesses need. We now, as of last year, we now have 24/7 continuous recording, which is a huge requirement for businesses. We also, one of the coolest things is smart AI video search. One of the complaints we've heard from time to time is that having to go back and find a video. Maybe it was from a week ago, maybe it was from 3 weeks ago, and you're either scrolling through or trying to use our filters. Now having the ability to go into your history and search, show me all of the white vans that made deliveries last Thursday, and it'll bring that up. Or show me all the people with yellow backpacks that were here 2 weeks ago. Having that ability and leveraging that AI is making people's lives so much easier. And one of the cool features we just released a week or two ago is smart video descriptions. So instead of getting that description of saying, hey, there's a person at your front door, you're going to get a description that says there's a person delivering a package in a blue vest, or there's someone walking a brown dog in your driveway right now. So again, we're trying to make things that are useful for businesses and our homeowners as well.
Absolutely. And I would just add to that and say the solutions that we allow the integrators to create with our products and services, they can go anywhere. I've seen people deploy these in open fields, right? They get a solar array, they hook up an Alarm Pro, but whatever the customer's problem is, I would gladly accept the challenge of find a building that Ring wouldn't be good for. You know, even if it's a local area network and you just have one PoE switch and you're running wires, you're literally throwing bolts of wire through a drop ceiling in a new business. Great. It's going to work pretty much flawlessly in any of those scenarios. So I challenge you to find one that doesn't, and I would welcome it.
Hey, we got a couple questions. I know we answered them in the Q&A box, but I thought it was an interesting question about panic buttons for businesses. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on your answers that you put into the Q&A box?
Sure. So we do sell a panic button, but it panics. We don't yet have a silent alarm. What we do have, though, which would be a cool side solution, is if you add Alexa devices with Ring devices and you add some of the Alexa Guard and the Alexa Plus, it will listen out for scary events. So we can listen for glass shattering with AI. It can listen for the sound of somebody falling. It can see if anybody's, it can listen for calls for help. So in those solutions where it may not be able to do some of that, some of those sounds will trigger alarms. Where I've seen those panic buttons work really well is in vacant home listings, where maybe I'm a buyer's agent and I have to take a stranger to a vacant house at night. It's yeesh. But as the listing agent, maybe I contract one of the Ring pros from this call to put in a temporary Ring system with a panic button. And now when I walk in, I just slip it in my pocket. If anything goes a little weird, I hit the button. I go, oh, I'm so embarrassed I didn't turn the alarm off. But it's announcing to the neighbors. It's calling the police. Maybe VSG is watching. So I hope to see a silent alarm. But right now, because like Chris said, we started in residential, it's primarily a panic button is for panic. So I'd love to see a solution. I just don't know what goes into making it.
Gotcha. And yeah, so we have CEDIA Expo coming up right around the corner, about a month and a half away. So what can we expect to see from you guys in Denver and for the rest of 2025 and beyond?
It's going to be awesome.
Well, you get to see me and Tommy, so that's worth the trip right there, right?
Yeah, so we'll both be at the show. And if you haven't heard, so Jamie Siminoff, the founder and owner of Ring, the guy that went on Shark Tank as both a contestant and a shark, he's back with Ring, and it's awesome. I mean, I can't say a lot, but what I will say is if you can't go to CEDIA, please email us and set up a meeting with us through that link on this screen. Set up a meeting for the 7th to the 10th, the days after CEDIA, because we're going to have news. So if you were excited hearing about 24/7 or AI Smart Search or VSG or the new PoE Cam, there's a lot more of that. And even some of the questions that we didn't get to. So we're gonna play a little game here. There was a question that was asked by a few of you, actually, that there could be news on. And I'm not going to say another word about it, but that, oh, whoa, no way, could be coming down the pipe. So please get in touch. Let us know what your ideas are, if we can help facilitate them, if we can help. Again, our goal is to grow your business and come along for the ride, not to get you to sell a couple more Ring devices. That doesn't grow anybody's small business. But let us help you fill the calendar. Let us help you make the phone ring on your end instead of their end. Whatever we can do, we're ready to help.
Awesome. Sounds
Tommy
juicy.
and I are resources, so please just use us.
Yes.
Excellent.
Please.
Sounds like some juicy news coming down the pike. Looking forward to hearing about it.
It's going to be awesome.
Great.
Big year.
All right. Well, that will conclude the webinar for today. Thanks again to Tommy and Chris for a great and informative session about growing your business with Ring. Thanks to everyone who took the time to watch us today. And as we said, a recording of the webinar will be available online shortly. And again, for weekly news, topics, and tips, don't forget to subscribe to Small Business Exchange and CE Pro via the resource list. Thanks again, and thanks for stopping by, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.